Today I'm talking about 3 films, all directed by George Cukor, that star Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn. And the names of those 3 movies are Keeper of the Flame, Adam's Rib, and Pat and Mike. First up is Keeper of the Flame. This is a 1942 film, and the basic premise is there is this really rich man who everyone loves. Like, he is the golden boy of America. He has fan clubs and whatnot. It's insane. But he passes away. One of the reporters who comes to his funeral wants to deep dive his life story, and what he finds is not what he was expecting. Now, I'm a little torn on this movie because it is a really fun and interesting mystery. It has really strong shades of Citizen Kane, and the performances are phenomenal. Like, Katharine Hepburn and Spencer Tracy are just so electric on screen. I was glued to their every movement. It was something else. And then, like, they did such a good job with the mystery that I was excited to see where it goes. But at the same time, the resolve of the mystery is where things break down a little bit for me with this film. In that, as we're about to get to the answers, I'm like, okay, we know most of what's going on, but there's a big piece of the puzzle missing, and it feels weird that this journalist has not figured out anything within that big piece that's missing. So it felt kind of shallow. And then Katharine started to explain everything, and the answers we got felt very obvious. Like, that was the beginning of the movie, was kind of just plainly telling us this end part. So I was kind of confused that that's what the missing piece of all of this was what they just straight up said at the beginning of the movie. Though I guess they didn't say the actual words, they just did all the iconography of this very specific thing. So I don't know, it didn't land the best for me. But that being said, I liked what they were going for with it. Like, this is very much so an anti-something film, and kind of the point of it is how people can get so wrapped up in something that they don't see the really obvious thing that's super bad for them. Especially this, like, very specific thing that I'm choosing not to say. So yeah, it was a good mystery, though it kind of wasn't, but it mostly was. So yeah, I don't know. It's a bit of a strange one. I would kind of say that, like, it's a good film, it's just a bit lumpy, a bit wrinkly. It needed a little bit more ironing out, and then it would be something extra special. As is, it's definitely a good film that's worth a watch, but it definitely has its faults. So would I recommend it? Yes, just a little cautiously. It's a good mystery, though you will probably figure out where it's going. But like I said, the performances are phenomenal, so it's fine. You'll still have a good time with this. So yeah, it's a good film that I would cautiously recommend. Next up is Adam's Rib. This is a 1949 film, and the basic premise is Katharine and Spencer are both lawyers. Spencer gets assigned this case where this woman, played by Judy Holliday, who went out and shot at her husband who was cheating on her. Katharine really likes this case, and so she goes out of her way to defend Judy's side. I definitely think it was a good, fun premise. It's definitely trying to be very pro-women, pro-equal rights. Like, at one point during jury selection, Katharine literally just asks one of the potential jurors if he thinks that women should have equal rights to men. He gets very angry and says no, and it's like, oh yeah, this is the 40s. And then it was really fun, all of the women in the film, like, seeing the newspaper headline, just being like, good for her, good on her. Just like, all right, this is vibes, I dig it. And like, there's definitely really good chemistry between Katharine and Spencer, as always. They have some really fun flirty moments. Like, one of them will drop a pencil in the courtroom, and then both will go down under the table, and like, they'll make faces at each other or flirt or whatever, and it's just the cutest. Judy has this really big monologue where she explains everything, and that was phenomenal. I really love that. Where I'd say this movie falters is it really focuses on Spencer and Katharine's relationship. Like, we just see so much of them in so many different situations that were interesting, but I feel like the more fascinating stuff was in the courtroom. Like, I did like this couple trying to balance facing each other in court with the love they have for each other. I think that is a good idea. We kind of focus too much on one part of it. And also, I feel like Judy in particular, but the case stuff in general, we needed more time with it. Like, I really was not sure what Katharine's defense was for Judy until close to the end of the movie. Like, yeah, she talked a lot about how women need to be treated equally to men in the eyes of the law, and like, I get that, but Judy straight up shot at her ex-husband seemingly with the intention to murder. So like, I don't really see how being treated like a man would make any difference, because like, if a man shot at his wife who was cheating, probably still be attempted murder either way. I'm sure there's probably like some cultural things from the 40s that I just am unaware of as to why this was her exact argument, but it just didn't seem the most concrete. I don't really get what her defense is, even now after she said it. That being said though, there's a lot of good stuff in this movie. It's definitely an enjoyable film that's worth a watch. It just has some room for improvement that I would be very happy if there was like a remake or something one day. I think a good remake could definitely work. So yeah, no, it's a nice little film that I would recommend. It definitely has its faults, but it's still a good, fun, interesting experience. So yeah. And lastly is Pat and Mike. This is a 1952 film, and the basic premise is Katharine is really good at sports, but she's about to get married. But after an incident, she decides to abandon the engagement, sort of, and agree to work with this scummy bookie guy who's gonna act as her, like, promoter to get her to do a whole bunch of sports. And so then she just does a whole bunch of sports, and also it's a bit of a love story too, I guess. It was fine. It was such a strange premise, as I'm sure you could tell by my tone while explaining it. I did enjoy all of the sports stuff. Like, this movie was designed to show off how incredibly talented Katharine was at all of these different sports. You got golf, you got tennis, there were some other things too. It was fun to watch her do those things, and then it was also fun. She had like this hiccup whenever her ex-fiance would come to visit. She would get all nervous and then be really bad at the sport. That definitely tickled me. But I feel like the whole crime element of the film kind of muddied the plot, and I get the desire to show her being good at all these different sports, but I feel like just focusing on a single sport would have helped focus the film. Like a singular goal of winning the championship at such and such place versus just like, I want to do sports, and then she does sports. Like, what's the goal here? What are we going towards? It wasn't a bad movie by any means. I definitely liked it. I just thought it was kind of fine, very middle of the road, didn't blow me away, but it wasn't a bad experience either. So would I recommend it? I would say yes if you are a fan of Katharine and or Spencer, because they're both very delightful here. They always have great chemistry. But if you're not really into them, I don't know if there's a whole lot you would get out of this. It's definitely not a bad film by any means. So like, if you watch it, you're not in for a bad experience, but you get more out of it if you like those two actors. So it's a cautious recommend is what I'm saying. Alrighty, now for today's rankings. First up, we got Keeper of the Flame, sitting number 54 in the Quite Like section. And then right after that is Adam's Rib, sitting number 55, again in the Quite Like section. And then not too terribly far behind is Pat and Mike, sitting number 61 in the Liked section. And this is out of a total of 99 old movies so far this year.